The three documentaries are from the point of view of African women, the ones who are making it as well as the ones who are featured in the films. And for me, it shows how African women actually cope with different situations and how they are the foundation of the family, and how if you give them some empowerment, if they have something, they use it for the good of the community. And so women are very powerful because they also work for society, they also nurture children, and they ought to be given more responsibility. She's a very important person because she has done a lot. She has done a big job of crafting the Sexual Offences Act, which before it came, rapists could get away with rape because the policemen would laugh at the women when they come to report, and nothing would be done. You know, the person could bribe, and also the families would not report. You know, like there's a girl in the film who says she was raped by her uncle when she was 13, and she told her mother, but her mother said, "Shh, don't tell anybody, because if you tell, you'll be stigmatized. You'll be, you know, it's just like with AIDS, the stigma around it." So Njoki, what she did was craft this Sexual Offences Act so that it encourages people to go to the police, or, you know, it's educative. And she does this program with girls where she educates the girls on that act and also on their own dignity, or their own, you know, to get more confident and to have plans, you know, to have a plan. And I think this is very, very powerful and very necessary in a society like ours, to empower the women and the girls so that they don't always think they have to be victims. They are not victims, they can be the people doing things. It is because if women are aware and women have an education, they pass it on to the next generation much more easily than a man, because a man does not have the baby, you know, nurture the baby when they are from 0 to 16 at least. The woman has to follow up with the baby, with the child. And a woman is more around the children than the man, because the man, once he goes to work, then he goes to the bar, then he comes back, the children are asleep. Actually, even uneducated women have a lot of power in Africa. They have a lot of independence, because if you go to the markets in Africa, they're full of women. Women doing business, women dyeing clothes, women sewing, women selling. So what I'm saying is that the more they know, the more aware they are, the more advantageous it is to the whole community. I felt good about it because, first of all, I saw there was interest because many people came. You know, I was surprised, oh, there were so many people. And then they were interested also. And also, it is an opportunity also I'm given to express my ideas, or the ideas of, you know, the idea of African women doing what. Also because we have some corrections to do on our own images, we Africans, because how we are perceived by the world is not how we perceive ourselves. You know, when I left Germany, because I used to study in Germany, even filmmaking I studied in Germany. When I decided to go home, everybody was telling me, but how can you go to Africa? It's so catastrophic. And how can you go and live there? What will you do? And I said, you know, I lived there before I came here. My parents live there. My brothers live there. 30 million people live there. So what is the big deal about me living there? But, of course, the perception is the one which is different. Because what people know about Africa is there's poverty, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of dictatorship, there's this and this. But there are people fighting it. There are people living day-to-day lives who have goals and who are doing many things and who are changing things. And there's a lot of positive energy. I'd like to say something. The films we have are mostly NGO made. You know, NGOs, they give money to make films on AIDS, on water, on poverty, on what. So that is what the Europeans get to see the problem films, but they don't get to see the positive things which people are doing in Africa. And it's as if the colonial mentality or the post-colonial, neo-colonial mentality of our governments, because our governments have been eating our money, taxpayers' money, enriching themselves, and letting the donors do all the work, development work. So if we make more films like this, even our governments will be ashamed of themselves. So we should make more films like this, we Africans, and to also be mentors of our own people, so that they don't think they have to go to donors. They can create jobs for themselves. They can do things for themselves. So things are possible to even push the governments to be politically active.